YouTube, what's going on? It's Father Dark. Before we even start the video out, I just want to say, it's the 6th of January at this point. I'm recording this video like 12 a.m. Took a little cat nap earlier that lasted longer than it should have. But, before I start the video off, I just want to say that, we just hit the 2K followers milestone. I just got my yearly analytic thing the other day from YouTube. It said that I hit like 2.3 million views last year. And that was like the first year that I started taking YouTube seriously. So I just want to say I appreciate all the love. If you're new to this channel, I appreciate you stopping in and watching the video. With this video, like a lot of the other videos I've been doing lately, all I'm doing is putting on just like some basic gameplay that I played the other day just for the sake of this video, some ranked gameplay. I'm just going to talk to you all, and that's what I do. I'm an objective creator, right? So what that means is it just means that I might have put a clickbaity thumbnail up that says, hey, Call of Duty's dying. And that's just because that's the trend right now. And not that I necessarily agree or disagree, but, we're going to talk about it in the video. Nonetheless, the point is that, I just try to talk to you all like my name is Father Dark, right? Because I'm a father and a husband. And I just try to talk to you all like you're, one of my kids or my wife or a friend that's sitting here in the office. I'm at my gaming chair, my setup. You're posted up over there on the gaming couch, just hanging out, chilling, and we're just having a conversation, right? I'm not going to sit here and, use hyperbole and say, oh, well, a couple players left the game. It's over, guys. We're wrapping it up, but I'm also not going to sit here and, just not acknowledge that there are things that need to be worked on and, all that kind of stuff. So let's just go ahead and get into the video, right? So, the whole thing is that the Call of Duty hate is hot right now. The hate train is in full effect. It's steaming at 200-300 miles an hour. It's moving, right? Everybody's jumping on it, even all of these creators. And, I'm not going to sit here and say names and all that kind of stuff because I feel like every creator has a niche, right? You got some creators where they just like to sit back and hate on Call of Duty all day long. They go to sleep, they wake up, they hate on it, right? And that's no offense to any other creator, but like I feel like that's a little weird, right? It's kind of like me saying that I'm over my ex, but then I do nothing but talk about my ex. Clearly, I'm not over my ex, right? So that's kind of a weird thing to me, but like I said, it's fine for that to be weird to me. It's just weird to me. If it's not to others, that's fine. I might think, chocolate chip mint ice cream is weird, but there's a whole group of people out there that love it, so fully understandable. But then, like I said, you have other creators where, you look at their page and the game can be literally on fire and there's a million things wrong with it and they're still just creating content like nothing's wrong, dropping loadout videos, having a great time, seemingly. Then you have everything in between, right? So me, I'm the in between. I've said it a million times. If Call of Duty got to a point to where I felt like they weren't keeping me entertained, and I'm a 2-decade Call of Duty player now. I've been playing Call of Duty longer than most of the people probably watching this video have been alive, or right at the amount of time that you've been alive, right? I have seen it from the very beginning. I've seen gaming, period. I have a very, I feel like the insight that I have with gaming is kind of rare because I'm as old as dirt, to a lot of you guys. Not really, but, that's how you all see it. I'm Unc, right? Or dad or whatever, right? So it's like I've seen gaming from its, almost inception. I'm not, maybe not necessarily like the Atari days. But my first console was a Sega Genesis. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 came in that thing. You know what I mean? I have seen gaming go from this very just kind of thing that people just did casually to people making careers out of it, myself included, right? And with that, once you've lived enough life and you've seen enough stuff with a particular thing, you don't really fall into the whole you know what I mean? Like, just think about in life how many things happen on a daily basis, and on that day it seems really crazy, right? You're like, you see something on the news and you go, whoa, that's crazy, right? And then not even 2 days later something crazier happens and it just kind of gets pushed away and nobody cares and things kind of go back to normal. That's kind of like how it is with gaming. And with COD, it's very interesting because there was a period of time where COD was just kind of like this casual thing. Gaming in general was just this casual thing that people just did. Everybody seemed like most people had consoles in their home and they played lots of different games. Nobody was really watching streamers like that. That was more of a very like niche thing. people were not making content because it wasn't nearly as accessible. I mean, there were some people that were doing it, but you know what I mean, right? Nowadays, pretty much anybody can just on their phone just create videos and upload them to pretty much any platform, and they're accessible to everyone. Whereas, you know, back in the day, it took a lot more effort and tech to be able to, you know, make content and stuff. So we're living in like this really kind of like weird time where, you know, people, when they have issues with things, instead of it just being something that they say, oh, this is stupid, well, this game is dumb, whatever, and they pop it out and pop a new one in, you know, they jump on Twitter, they jump on, you know, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, and they complain about it, right? So problems that were there and existed prior are, you know, still there. They're just people have platforms now to complain about them. So it seems like it's so much more relevant. Just like in life, lots of crazy things have been happening for a long time. But when you get on Twitter nowadays and you're scrolling, you're seeing more of it. It's not that more of it really exists than it did prior. And in some situations there is, but for the most part though, you're seeing more of it, right? In real time. And like I said, you know, a lot of these creators, not even a lot, pretty much every Call of Duty creator or anyone that even creates content, even remotely, you know, even if they're just kind of like someone who just kind of, they create content about a bunch of different games, but, you know, sometimes they create content about COD. They're all doing the same thing, whether it's the people who are diehard Call of Duty creators, the in-between ones, the more, you know, variety gamers, whatever. What's hot right now, if you look at, if you're a creator and you go into your analytics and you search Call of Duty Warzone, you know, you type it into ChatGPT, whatever, one of the top things that will come back as far as stuff that people are looking for is Call of Duty dying, Call of Duty's dead, you know, pretty much anything in that area, right? Like, even to the point to where, to get you to watch this video, that's the kind of thumbnail that I made. You know, why would they do this? Why, you know, and it is a valid question with certain things, but at the same time, like I said, I'm objective. So when I look at what's going on with COD, I look at things from the perspective of the hardcore Call of Duty gamers, the in-between kind of like medium casuals to completely casuals, right? And, you know, a point that I made in another video is kind of like the vocal minority a lot of times gets confused and thinks that they're the majority. And I get it. I totally get it, right? Because I am kind of in somewhat of like the vocal minority, right? Out of all the people that I know that play COD, I play COD the most seriously. I don't know any other, like personally, any other people who play and create content. I don't know anyone else who stays up on the know every day with everything. And it's not like that's a hard thing for me. I just subscribe to all the leakers and data miners and stuff, and, you know, the Call of Duty page on Twitter. It was a click of a button. And when I get up, you know, in the morning, I'm having my coffee, scroll through, I see all this bundles releasing. Oh, they nerfed this gun. Oh, you know, they did this, or they didn't do this, or whatever, right? And then that's what I even got into content making, you know, or creation for, was, you know, to spread this news to people, because, you know, I got tired of like going to talk to somebody about something and they're like, wait, there's an update today, or there's this or that. That is the average player. They do not keep up with what's going on. They don't know. They don't understand what the meta is. Even if you told them what the meta is, they're like, well, yeah, I like using this thing. And then when they get deleted by the meta, they're gonna be like, what? I can't believe that just happened to me. They're playing on a console. They're not playing on some high-end PC rig. Even if they just got a PC, they have no understanding of how a PC works. They have no interest in looking it up. This is the average everyday person. They have a million other things going on in their mind, and they're just not concerned with any of that stuff. And even though I'm a father and a husband, and I have plenty of, you know, I got a mortgage, I got a dog, a cat, all these things that go on in my life, you know what I'm saying? But this is my thing that I enjoy. The same way a lot of you know every single thing about sports or every single thing about cars or whatever. This is my thing. I understand tech. Before I even got into content creation, that's what I did. I repaired phones, computers, TVs. I know all this stuff inside and out. I love entertainment, like, you know, and that pretty much anything that falls under that umbrella, whether it be TV shows, movies, video games. Those are all the things that I love. That's how I've been my whole entire life. So staying up on those things is just kind of like, you know, it's what I do. Whereas the average person, they just want to jump on after working, you know, a 12-hour shift to their job or whatever the case may be, and just relax and have some fun. But like I said, though, the people that usually watch videos like this and stuff, that stay in the know and are constantly just, chronically online with this kind of stuff, not saying that in a negative way, it's just, it is what it is. You're more than likely in the minority. If you're an extremely skilled player, you're more than likely in the minority, because even just having a positive KD, I know a lot of people don't believe this or understand it, because to them it's just kind of like something you should do. But the average person is not good at games. They jump on, they have fun, they don't look at their KD, they don't track their stats, they don't use metas, they don't do any of that stuff. They don't play competitively. Even if they do load into ranked, they're like the teammates that I seem to get most of the time, where they have no idea what's going on. They'll have money to buy a loadout and be standing right next to a buy station and be content with guns they picked up off the ground. Once again, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just the nature of what it is. 95% of players are just oblivious, casual players, right? And that is who Call of Duty, along with any other game, that's who they're concerned with, because you just say it out loud. Think about it. It's a business. They're not out here to make anyone except the predominant base, like their customer base, happy. That's what any business does. If I run, a McDonald's and 99 people come through the line and they're like, yo, I want a burger and fries. And then you come in and you go, you're just one person out of every 100 person that comes in and he goes, hey man, I want I want goat or something just random, right? Like, do you think I'm about to change my whole entire like menu setup and pay all this extra money to have this stuff brought in and cook it and prepare and stuff just for you? No, I'm going to let you go to the other shop that will create that for you or make that for you, whatever, right? And that's the whole problem with being the vocal minority. And I know it's frustrating, because you're like, well, I put so much money into the game and so much time and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but like I said, you're a minority, and you're in a group that is extremely small, microscopically, compared to the majority of people that just load up and play the game and obliviously buy bundles and stuff. You ever see bundles in the store and you wonder, like, who's buying this? I'm not talking about like the silly like things you think are silly. I'm talking about bundles where like it's not a meta weapon and you're like, who's buying that, right? Because like, why would you get that if it's something that you're not even going to use, right? I'm to be able to survive in my lobbies, you have to use meta. If you don't use meta loadouts, you're going to get deleted instantly. Like, you can't play for fun in my lobbies. You have to play like there's money on the line every single time, because you're being pushed by FaZe Clan members constantly. So, but yeah, when you see those bundles, who's buying those? Casual gamers. When I play with other like friends of mine who are casual gamers and I'm in their lobbies, completely different game. Completely different game. I'll pick up someone else's loadout. Like in my lobbies, if you get deleted, you can pick up someone else's loadout. It will be identical because everyone is using the same exact loadout. There's two variations. You're either going to be using, like, as far as right now, you're either using the XM4 with a 100-round mag on it, with like a 2 or 3 times scope, or you're using a sniper. It's as simple as that. And pretty much everybody's using the same exact SMG, either the Jackal or the CX9 or whatever it's called. So that's how I can roll in my lobbies, right? If I lose my loadout, I get deleted, I go to the Google, come back, I can just pick up any random guy's loadout, and I know it's going to be almost tit for tat identical to mine. Whereas in my friends' lobbies, completely different story. I remember a couple months ago, I was playing with a friend of mine, and I deleted this guy, and I went to go pick up his loadout. He was using an SMG with like a 4-time sight on it. Now, to me, that's crazy. Like, why would you do that? But to him, he probably thought this was like the best loadout on the planet. He's just like, oh, man. He's probably telling someone was at work, like, yeah, man, yo, bro, you're not gonna believe, this loadout I got, fire, bro. No, man, but in his lobbies, he can pull that off. In his lobbies, that he probably puts work in with that thing, and it's just the nature of what it is. But putting all that aside, like I said, a lot of people are sitting back there saying, "Oh, Call of Duty's dead. Call of Duty's dying." They look at the Steam charts. They lost all the players that they had originally. Here, I'm gonna put this into perspective for you guys, right? Just think about this. Unless you're someone who's in a very, very tight knit gaming group where these are people that you all know, you all take the game very seriously, you play scrims and all that kind of stuff. Unless you're in a group of friends like that, just think about this for a second. How many people do you actually know that own gaming PCs? Gaming PCs that can actually play something higher than like Roblox or Fortnite, like very low demanding graphically games, like anything above that that can play them at high frame rates. How many people do you know that actually care about the frame rate on their PC, can even tell you how many frames a second they're getting? How many of your friends do you know that are actually anything above diamond rank? Crickets, right? I mean, what are we talking about here? You know what I'm saying? I know, yeah, you might say, well, I got a friend, Todd. He's really good at the game. Okay, that's one person. The majority of people that you're going to come in contact with that say they have something to play games on, it's more than likely going to be a console. Consoles are easily accessible. They don't require you. Building a PC is not easy for the average person. For me, super easy. Takes zero like extra resources, as far as like, thinking and stuff for me to do. I could literally, the way Marines have to take away their ARs, take apart their ARs blindfolded and upside down and stuff like that. That's how I do electronics. Literally could do it blindfolded in my sleep probably. That'd be my version of sleepwalking. Would be taking apart an iPhone and replacing the LCD, or taking the motherboard out and cleaning it off and stuff like that with compressed air and putting everything back in perfectly. That's how I get down, but that's not the average person. The average person wants to come in, press a button on their controller that turns on their game, and they just want to press another button on the controller to activate the game. Give me 1 second. I need to close my office door. Sorry, for some reason my son is still up at 12 o'clock at night. I think he hasn't comprehended yet that he has to go to school tomorrow. Luckily, there's a 2-hour break because we just had a little bit of snow today. But anyway, back to the point. The average player is on a console. Let's just be real here, okay? So PC stats are a drop in the bucket. They're realistically a drop in the bucket. Now, another point that I want to make too, once again, being objective here, I'm not a COD shill. These guys aren't paying me anything. I don't plan on going to any type of COD Next events or anything. That is not what I have in mind as far as my journey with content creation. I just sit here and I give you guys the facts because we live in a world where everything is so clickbaity and everybody just wants to sit here and jump on any kind of train to get as many views as they can. And I'm just going to sit here and give it to you guys straight. So, there's another thing too that a lot of people aren't talking about with Steam. Okay, so for one, people like myself, before I got a console, I was on Xbox. Now I've had Xbox Game Pass for the longest time, not because I usually play anything on Game Pass. I mean, every once in a while, I think the last time I really cared about something that came out on Game Pass was when Starfield came out, because I didn't know if I was actually going to enjoy the game enough to want to pay for it and buy it. You know how a lot of games are. They hype it up and then it comes out. It's got like a 10, 15-hour campaign and then you move on with life, right? Never touch it again. But the biggest reason I have Game Pass is because my kids, they just upgraded to PCs for Christmas, but prior to that, they were Nintendo Switch, tablet, and Xbox kids, right? So for them, it was a lot better to have Game Pass because they could just infinitely try out all these games. You're talking about thousands of games that they can just try out, play, download, uninstall, download more stuff, whatever, right? So I kept it for them, but I had the ultimate version. So when the Activision buyout happened with Microsoft, I decided to keep the premium one for the PC simply because I was like, oh, okay, well, they're going to be getting day one for the Call of Duty games. And the only reason that I buy Call of Duty games anymore is simply to get the mastery camo in that period of time before the new Warzone integration happens. I like to just play multiplayer, go ahead and get all my stuff maxed out, leveled up, and get the mastery camo. So that way, when Warzone, the Warzone integration happens, I can just play the game comfortably. I rarely ever go back to multiplayer. And when I do, it's usually because maybe I've taken a few days off and I feel a little rusty. I want to get a warm up or something like that, or when they release new modes and I want to make a little video about it, kind of like how they've just done like the Squid Games mode and stuff. But outside of that, I am not a multiplayer guy. I've been so burnt out on playing multiplayer forever. I much more prefer stuff like when DMZ was out, Warzone, Resurgence, all of that kind of stuff. Preferably one life modes with the exception of like Resurgence. But multiplayer, I've just burnt out on it. It's not my thing anymore, right? But like I said, a lot of people like myself are playing everything through the Xbox app because the Xbox app and Game Pass are the same thing now. So the fact that my Xbox account is the same thing as my Microsoft account and everything is already linked, it's just much easier to just keep everything under that umbrella of the Microsoft account. You know what I'm saying? Whereas with Steam, Also, too, another point that I want to bring up while I'm thinking about it, there was also a thing with Steam where, see, I didn't play it on Black Ops, but there was enough people talking about it to where I can take it as something that was a real, a thing that was really happening for a lot of people. Apparently, there was some kind of bug on Steam where like people were getting only maybe like 2/3 of the amount of frames that they should have been getting, which is a pretty big deal. Because I can't remember what it was. I don't know if it was like something where like voice chat was like bugged out or something. So you had to play the game without voice chat and people didn't know that, or they did and they were just kind of irritated by it. Whatever, it might have been something else. But regardless, a lot of people stopped playing it on Steam and switched over to Game Pass or, Battle.net or one of the many other platforms that you can play it on. And I think that can account for a big drop in the numbers and stuff, Regardless, though, let's just say that the 100, I think it was like 140K players or something. Let's say that it was all people that just said, you know what, I'm completely done with the game, I'm not playing it anymore, right? You have to think about something. There are millions upon millions of people that play Call of Duty every single day. Every single day. They're not jumping on Twitter to complain about it. They're not watching streamers all day long. They're not, taking in content like this. They simply just come home, they sit down, they load up some COD, they play by themselves or with a couple of friends, they get off, and then rinse and repeat. It is only the diehard, true Call of Duty fans that are, not saying that if you don't do all this stuff, you're not a true Call of Duty fan, but you get what I'm saying though, right? It's only the super hardcore gamers that are this invested in what's going on, right? So to say that because these players on Steam have stopped playing it, that it's a dead game, I wish that I would create a game that was dead like Call of Duty is supposed to be dead. I wish I had a game that brought me literally billions of dollars in microtransactions every 2 to 3 months. Let's just say that again. Multiple billions. We're talking about $3 to $4 billion every couple of months solely in microtransactions. That is not counting, and we're just talking about Warzone. We're not talking about Call of Duty Mobile or anything else. And we're also not talking about the amount of money that they get from their annual, meaning yearly releases of the game that are somehow always selling more copies than the last one sold. Because every year there's new gamers that are coming into the market, a new generation of gamers who are, falling into this cycle of this is going to be the best Call of Duty ever. We're going to do all this stuff that's completely different. And yeah, that's how it's been for a year. People have been saying this forever. I remember when Modern Warfare 3 came out, I was talking to a friend. I'm not talking about Modern Warfare 3 like the most recent one. I'm talking about the original Modern Warfare 3. Me and a friend of mine were playing it, and he came over. He was really excited to play it. And while we were playing it, he was like, yeah, man, this just seems like a reskin of the last one. And I was thinking to myself, well, like, yeah, bro, like these games come out every year. It's not like they're like, what did you expect? You expect it to be like super drastically different? No, they add a few things in. The graphics get just microscopically better maybe than they were before, or they stay the same. But for the most part, it's Call of Duty, man. That's why we like it, because it's predictable. It doesn't change too much. If it did change too much, people would be like, what is this? I don't want this. I want the old COD back. So it's kind of like this damned if you do, damned if you don't type of thing. Nonetheless, though, let's move on to something else. Let's talk about the Squid Games event. A lot of people are upset about the Squid Games event because they've now done something a little bit different than what they've done before. And what I find to be interesting about this is that Fortnite, Apex, Call of Duty are the top 3 battle royales. Out of all the battle royales that have come out, even with PUBG being something that came out before all of these, those have been the ones that have standed the test of time. And they all have their own issues, their own things. They go back and forth. I'd have to say the weakest of the 3 is probably Apex in regards to player base and content and people just caring about it overall, all that kind of stuff. But, I don't have the numbers on that. It's just kind of like a personal thing. Nonetheless, they have always taken from each other. Like, you think about Apex. Actually, I can't really think off the top of my head. Like, the first thing that actually comes to mind as far as like things that they've like taken and stuff like that is just more like them also kind of like creating like a, like smaller modes, right? Like when it first came out, it was strictly just battle royale. That was it. There was nothing else. And now like over time, they've kind of done like more like multiplayer modes and stuff like that. Kind of like, just plunder type ish modes and stuff. They even had like a kind of like a, not search and destroy, but they had that mode where it was like 3v3 and one life mode, all that kind of stuff. Same thing with Fortnite came out with a resurgence mode. They've now just come out with a first person multiplayer mode. And when other games do stuff like that, it's not an issue. People will say, oh my god, look at is Fortnite gonna kill Call of Duty? Like, oh, they have a first-person multiplayer mode now, and it's just like, yeah, okay, cool. I even saw like they even had like a dark matter camo, like Interstellar or something for for their loadouts and stuff like that. Nobody was complaining. Nobody said anything bad about it. Same thing with Apex. If Apex chooses to add new things that already exist in another game, no one cares. But when COD, it's just like, oh, are you doing something that another game is doing? And the point that I'm making is that Fortnite for a long time now. I don't know how long it's been because I don't really play Fortnite very often anymore. When I do, it's usually just like I play it with my son sometimes. But I noticed like a year ago, maybe it was even longer, that they had an event. I can't remember what it was. I think it was like a Ninja Turtles event or something like that. And I was like, oh, this is cool, Ninja Turtles event. And then I noticed that like half of the event for all the good stuff was you had to pay for it. Now, granted, it wasn't much. It was like $10 or something. But still, though, I was just kind of like, oh, that's weird. Every time I see an event in the other game, or at least COD, it's just everything in the event is free. You just have to play it, But still, I didn't really care because, like I said, I wasn't really playing it. So I'm past my days of investing any type of energy into Fortnite. If I play it, I just, I got the most OG skins in the game. I played it when it first came out. So I got the Dark Knight skin. I got all like, the Raiders and all that kind of Renegade Raiders, whatever it is, all that stuff, right? So I'm at a point where I don't feel like I need to get anything else. Everything else to me is just, yeah. So nonetheless, though, with this event in COD, they've started doing the same thing. They said, hey, we got the free part, which in my opinion, if you really look at it, they're giving you 2 free skins, right? Like, what other event have we gotten multiple free skins in? Usually if they even do give you a skin from an event, which is really rare, you get one. Like, look at like the Halloween event that we had. You got the Red Riding Hood skin. And honestly, those skins become labeled as bot skins because once they're free, everybody gets them. It's kind of like that first skin they give you out of the battle pass. It always becomes like labeled like as the bot skin because it's just the skin that like everybody is wearing. And when everybody is wearing the same exact skin, it just kind of takes away the originality of it. Not saying there's not bundles that a lot of people get and stuff, but they're just a lot more rare versus something that everybody has access to. And like when everybody has access to the same exact thing in life, it's just nobody really cares, right? And that's just kind of how that goes. But the nicer skin in the event pass, which was the frontman skin that a lot of people saw and they wanted. Now let's be real here. If I would have showed you these skins, or actually when we first saw them all, I don't think anybody thought there was going to be an event pass like where we were going to get any skins, period. We probably just thought like you might get like a Squid Game's basic camo, or something like that for your loadout, a couple emblems, some stickers, like stuff like how they normally do, right? And we probably just assumed that any skin that we saw for Squid Games was going to be paid, right? So the fact that they gave you the basic characters, the players and stuff, skins for free, I'm like, okay, well, that's actually kind of like a step up for them. You know what I mean? Because they usually barely give out anything for free. And I'm just, like I said, I'm just being real here, right? But them charging $10 for the frontman skin, plus all of the stuff that comes in it, I basically looked at it like it was a bundle that really they normally, and also a finishing move too. Isn't the finishing move free? I don't know if the finishing move is free or not. I don't think it was. I could be wrong. I'm not looking at the pass right now. I'm just recording this video on, just staring at my monitor screen, But nonetheless, though, let's say it was free, wasn't free, whatever. Let's say all that stuff comes in the bundle, right? You get a skin, finishing move, you get 2 loadout blueprints. Actually, I think it was 3 because you got SMG, pistol, and you got the AR, right? And then you got like a flashbang cosmetic. So if you were to see all of that stuff in a bundle and it only cost $10, you'd be like, yo, this is a a good deal right here, right? I'm going to probably grab this, right? If you're even the kind of person that gets bundles, right? But the fact that you get 2 of them for free, I just kind of feel like it's like false outrage over that. That people are like, oh, well, I can't believe they're charging for stuff in a game where they charge for stuff. Like, it's no secret. This is how Call of Duty works. You buy the base game. It comes with things that it comes with. It comes with the loadouts. It comes with all the camos. And the thing is like, honestly, the best camos in the game are free. You just have to play the game to get them. I put dark matter on everything. I haven't grinded out Warzone or the zombies camo because I just haven't really been playing COD lately. And even still, like I said, that would have to be something. If I was going to grind out like the Warzone camo, like I would have to play it in Plunder or something, which I can't stand Plunder, but I'd have to because ain't nobody going to let me get any type of eliminations off with anything other than meta in my lobbies. My SBMM rating is way too high up there, and it's just not going to happen. I don't care. I could reverse boost for 200 games straight, and they're not going to put me in with bots. They just know better. They're like, bro, you've been diamond and higher in rank too many times, and you know what the deal is, right? Nonetheless. So, a lot of people were upset about that. And, my personal opinion on it is that, I'm not trying to make light of anybody's situations or anything, but gaming is a hobby, unless you're a content creator and you can say that you weekly or monthly receive a paycheck like myself from gaming, it's a hobby for you, right? And there is no hobby that is free. At least no hobby that's worth doing. I don't care if you say your hobby is walking up and down the street. Eventually, the soles in your shoes are going to wear off, and you're going to have to get some new shoes to walk around in, right? If you're a painter, you got to buy new paintbrushes. You got to buy new paint. You got to buy easels. You got to buy. I'm having a brain fart, but the stuff that you paint on. You know what I mean? If you're an artist, you got to buy pencils, pens, markers, sketchbooks, all that stuff, right? It doesn't matter what you do. I was talking to my wife about this last night. I was just like, give me an idea of a free hobby. And she thought about it for a while. She thought about it, and she likes gardening. And she was like, well, gardening's free. And I'm like, so what's up with the tools that you use for gardening? Somebody just gave those to you? They just fell out of the sky? She's like, no, I had to buy them. I'm like, okay, well, what about, I don't know, the gardening bed that you got out there that's really nice, that stops the animals from getting into it. And she's like, oh, we had to buy that. Like, okay, so what about the bags of seed and the soil, the premium soil that you get and stuff? She's like, I see what you're saying. Exactly, right? Like there is nothing that you're gonna do. This is America. This is a capitalistic society. We're not just giving stuff out for free. Do you want me to come into your job at Burger King or whatever, wherever you work at, and be like, yo, let me get a free burger. Let me get free fries, and like everybody just says that. And then Burger King's like, you know what? Why don't you just come into work for free, because Dark and all of his homeboys, they just want free food all the time. They don't have to pay for it. No. There's nothing that I expect to get in this life or in the world, period, that I don't expect to pay something for. Matter of fact, I don't even trust stuff when it's free. Somebody tells me, yo, it's free. I'm like, no, I'm sorry. I'm paying you something because it's going to cost me somewhere down the road, or there's some kind of catch and gimmick. And just like my father used to say, if it sounds too good to be true, it more than likely is, right? So, that I don't really get, right? Like if you're gaming, you have to understand that, and that's another thing that makes me think about too, like the mode that they put in, the red light, green light. I know that's not what it's called, but for the sake of the YouTube algorithm, that's what we'll call it. Nonetheless, a lot of people are complaining that they have stick drift, and they're like, oh, well, I want to play this mode in this game where I feel like some things you have to say them out loud, or like they will just sound crazy. They sound really crazy when you say them out loud. When we say some stuff in our head, it's just kind of like, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because it's benefiting me. It makes plenty of sense, right? But then when you say them out loud and you compare it to literally anything else in the world, it instantly starts to break under the pressure and just crumples, right? So you have people that are complaining that there's a mode where the whole entire point of the mode is that you have to stand completely still and not make any noise. That's how they designed it, because that's what happens in the show. I don't know if a lot of people just didn't watch Squid Games or whatever, but like in red light, green light, you have to stand completely still. If you even blink too hard, it might detect that as motion, and they're about to get you up out of here. You're gonna be eliminated, like fully. You know what I mean? And you got people that know they got stick drift. They know this. They're playing on the same controller they have like 4 years, it's barely working, and they're like, yeah, I'm gonna load into this mode, I'm gonna expect to win. I see people in the comments of the videos like, yeah, well, they designed the mode so you couldn't win to keep the player retention up. Bro, I played it like 4 times and then won. And the first couple of times, it was just because, honestly, I didn't realize that they had a red light, green light indicator on the side, and I was just waiting to like hear it, but they're saying it in a different language. What is it, Korean or whatever? So, which I obviously don't speak. I speak English, German, and a little bit of Spanish. That's all I know. Outside of that, I have no idea what this chick is saying, right? Sounds like to me she's just singing random stuff. So that was really what it was that small little learning curve. Once I realized that they had the indicator on the side of the screen and I could just look at that, it was as simple as that. But I'm also someone that I understand that things are going to break around me. All the stuff that's sitting at my desk at any point in time, God willing, hopefully my PC doesn't. Nothing goes wrong with that anytime soon because I don't feel like having to replace anything in that. But PC, something I just go to turn it on one day, it doesn't turn on. Okay, well now I got to dig into the savings and I got to go get a new graphics card. I get some more RAM. I got to replace my motherboard. Whatever, right? Same thing with the controller. I use Elite controllers. You know what I mean? Xbox Elite controllers. These bad boys are like $170, $200 depending upon where I get them from. If they're in stock at Target, I think Target has it from like a $179 or something like that. I keep money on the side to be able to replace these things because I know that I'm not going to not want to game. I'm not going to enjoy gaming if my controller is not working. I have 3 controllers that I just took out of my closet that I've had to, actually really 2 because I gave one of them to the kids, right? They have like normal controllers, but I also gave them an Elite controller. And the only thing that ever goes wrong with my Elite controllers, I don't even get stick drift on them. I take immaculate care of my electronics. But with the last couple of controllers that I've put in the closet in a box or whatever, it was because the right bumper went out. Elite controllers are excellent controllers, but after every day of using that right bumper a billion times to for my throwing knife or whatever, and I've since I've actually changed my throwing knife to a paddle, one of my paddles, but nonetheless though, the right bumper would always go out. Now there's nothing else wrong with this controller. Now, and when I say it goes out, it doesn't actually fully go out. It's just to where like how you normally can barely tap it and it works. I had to actually push it down. But when I'm in the middle of a 1v3 and I've got 2 of these guys down, I just need to use a throwing knife real quick, and so I can reload my gun before the next dude rolls up. I don't want to have to sit here and worry about if my controller is working or not. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want it to be perfect because that's just how I am. Same thing with anything else. One of the monitors might go out. You know what I'm saying? Keyboard, maybe the Z stops working on it. Whatever. Stuff's got to be replaced. So, you got to make sure that if you're doing a hobby that you can actually like do that hobby. I don't want to sit, like I said, I'm not trying to sit here and make it sound like, oh, well, gaming should, be all this and be all that. But at the same time that you have to be realistic. You know what I'm saying? It's like people that are still playing on a PS4 and they're like, yo, why isn't this new game coming out with a PS4? Bro, it's time to give it up, man. Like, let it go. Take that bad boy into the pawn shop or something, sell it, go cut some grass, ask for a few more hours, something. But it's going to be time to upgrade to the PS5, bro. Like, come on, man. We're almost to a point where they're about to start releasing new consoles now. Like what are we doing here? That's preposterous. At no point in time in any previous era of gaming have you been able to have a console for 10 years and still expect to get new games. I mean, what are we even talking about? That's insane to me. But, to each his own, right? So, yeah, but we're coming up on the 40-minute mark here. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, in the next few minutes. But, like I was saying, though, it's really easy nowadays to fall into a lot of content creators and how they will sit back and say, oh, well, this is happening with this, or this game is dying, or whatever the case is. And, you just have to think about it from your own perspective, right? If you're still able to load into matches, you're still able to play, there's still plenty of people that are playing it. If you personally enjoy something, just enjoy it, But if you don't, then don't play it anymore. Move on. Don't worry about what other people are doing. If other people are enjoying themselves and having fun and saying, oh, well, let's boycott this game. That's never going to work. There are just too many people that just do not care. So you have to make the tough decision and the tough choice on your own to sit back and ask yourself, do I want to follow through with this game? Do I want to keep playing it? And like I said, I do what I preach, right? So you look on my channel, you'll see the last numerous videos that I've uploaded have been about Marvel Rivals, because I feel like Marvel Rivals is a great game. It's really fun. Not to mention my friends that I have that are serious gamers, they kind of exclusively play hero shooters and stuff. So that was the first thing that's got them away from Overwatch. I couldn't stand Overwatch, and I was not, was not going to play that regularly. But with Marvel Rivals, we can actually agree on this game. So I've actually been having fun, not having to lone wolf it all the time, and just being able to have something that my in real life friends that we can actually agree on and enjoy from a gaming perspective, right? Not to mention, like I said, it's just a great game, and views have been excellent with Marvel Rivals content. People really like that stuff. They really enjoy it. It gets a lot of engagement and feedback and stuff like that. So that's what I've been doing, and I'll jump on COD. Like, I had to get my COD fixed this weekend. A little bit of rank to go ahead and get my ranked up, just because I can't stand not having my rank at least diamond in COD, right? But then after that, once I get up there, boom, right back on Marvel Rivals, and we're pushing out Marvel Rivals content. Now, if COD fixes a lot of the things that they got going on in regards to, what the player base is upset about, and the views start going back up, and they start pumping out more content, then we'll be right back on it, and then when bigger update stuff come out, like new seasons and all that stuff, I'll cover all that. But until Marvel Rivals does something to irritate me, that's probably where I'll be at for a while, right? So, it is what it is, but you have to, like I said, if you enjoy something, enjoy it. Most of you are not creators. If you're listening to this, you're not a creator. You are not forced to go where views go. You can play whatever you want to play. If you want to sit here and download an emulator and just play old PS1 and PS2 games and stuff like that, I mean, in case you just already have one just sitting around your house with all the games already or access to them. But nonetheless, however you choose to go about it, you could just do that. If you wanted to play Nintendo 64, you could do it. If there's just some obscure random game that only you enjoy, do it. Do whatever makes you happy. Stop worrying about what everybody else is into, why everybody else likes this, what people are posting content about. Just do you, man. Enjoy you. Life is too short to be worried about what a bunch of other people are interested in. Like I said, unless you're a content creator or unless you plan on being one, you can do whatever you want to do. But if you are a content creator and you're watching this, unfortunately, man, I feel the struggle, but that's what we signed up for. It's like, making movies or TV shows or anything else. You might have a passion project that you like, that you're really interested in, but unfortunately, if nobody cares about it or likes it, you gotta make the stuff that people do care about, if that's what you want to do. It's kind of like with painting. I paint, but I do it for me. I don't paint because I care about what anybody else thinks. I like to paint. My painting, in my opinion, is terrible. My wife is an excellent painter. She paints stuff we have a painting in our room that I just stare at all the time. I'm like, how in the hell did she paint that? It's just so detailed. I paint stuff, it looks like a 7-year-old did it, but I like it. I hang it up in my office right next to like my professional stuff, my posters, whatever, because I like it and I can do that, right? But I don't care what anyone else thinks about it. But if I was painting and I wanted to put it in a, a show or anything like that, a venue, whatever, or I was trying to sell it, then I would have to make something that people actually liked and cared about, right? I couldn't make something that no one liked or no one cared about and then be mad and like, no one likes this, no one cares about it. Like, it's just the nature of what it is, But like I said, I'm going to wrap it up. Let me know in the comments, though. Have you guys been playing COD? What are your thoughts on it? You feel like they're trash, they need to get it together? Do you feel like people are overhyping the hate and you've been playing it and enjoying it? What do you guys think, man? What's your perspective on it? And if you made it this long, because this was a super long rant, I usually try to wrap my videos up at like 20, maybe 30 minutes at the longest, but we're going on 40 something minutes here. But if you made it this long, you're goated. I appreciate you, and I will catch you guys on the next one.